So mason jar lunches are a great way to utilize your leftovers, save the environment by not using plastic, as well as being creative with colors and different ingredients, from sandwiches to salads. It's a great way to box your lunch and also look kind of cool on your desk. The pork sandwich, Italian pork sandwich, it starts with we call day-old Italian bread, so it's a little bit crispy, it's not too soft. So when the juice from the gravy gets onto the bread, it kind of absorbs it without it getting too mushy. I like to start with cubing it into nice cubes. It fits a lot better into the bottom of the jar. You certainly could keep it flat like this and make it more like a sandwich, but it's a lot easier to eat inside the jar with a fork. After the bread, I like to add the pork on top of the crusty bread. You kind of just layer it in there on top and maybe take some of the juice on there as well. And then I go, after the pork, I put on the Italian broccoli rabe. I call it broccoli rabe. In the store you'll see it as broccoli rapini. I like to saute that with garlic and olive oil. So that's the next layer, and it's hot when you put it in the jar. And then you add the mozzarella or provolone cheese. I like provolone. The sharp provolone just gives it a lot more flavor and you don't have to add as much salt. The next layer, I like to add the roasted red peppers. That's like a topping on the sandwich. So then you would at that point start with your next layer, which would be more bread. And then again, you would repeat the same process over with the pork and the broccoli and the cheese, and then the red peppers again. Then you can also add another layer of bread if you have room and add some more of the gravy on top. And then seal and go. The salad is the same concept, but in a different shaped jar because it makes it a little bit easier to eat in a jar that is a little bit wider mouth with the salad. So like with the salad, I like to toss the salad first with the dressing, just so it has a nice coating on the arugula. So I use arugula, it has a nice peppery flavor. Layer that on the bottom first, and then after the arugula, I would put the red beets. Then I would put the fennel, which is, I use shaved fennel, which has a nice anise flavor to it. And then I would put the orange beets on top of that. Sometimes orange beets can be hard to find in the grocery store, but if you can find them, they're really nice, they're really sweet. But you could certainly just use, another layer of red beets if you like. I was fortunate enough to get the yellow beets, the orange beets from Green Meadow Farm in Gap, Pennsylvania. They're a really great wholesale farm to, if you have a restaurant, they're fantastic. And then I would like to put the goat cheese on top of the orange beets. And then again, you would just repeat the process with the arugula. Or you can put the fennel. You can really layer it however you'd like, but it's really pretty in the jar if you kind of alternate the colors. You can feel free also to put the dressing in between each layer if you need to. I like to dress the greens, and then just because the beets are so sweet and they have such a great flavor, I don't like to cover the beets with the dressing, so kind of like you get all the flavors sort of separately but all kind of together at the same time. I also have a layer of candied walnuts. Sometimes I use pecans, just depending on what I feel like or what I have on hand. I like to candy my own pecans or walnuts, but you can certainly buy them in the store. It's very simple. You just kind of toss them with some water, some brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and toss them together and bake them for about 20 minutes at 300 degrees.